From staring into the jaws of a great white shark to a meeting with a walrus gone horribly wrong, here are 10 seriously scary underwater encounters you never want to have. 10. Great white shark. A diver that was exploring off the coast of Florida had a very spooky encounter with a massive great white shark. He actually captured the encounter on video using the underwater camera attached to his head. Jimmy Roseman was swimming in the murky waters of Vero Beach when he realized a great white shark was circling him. According to what Roseman told local TV news, the shark kept a distance of no less than 7 feet or 2.1 meters during the encounter. It was absolutely terrifying, especially since the great white shark can grow to be over 20 feet or 6 meters long and over 5,000 pounds or around 2,200 kilos heavy, with 7 rows of over 300 extremely sharp teeth. If you've seen Jaws the movie, it's pretty likely you have some kind of fear of sharks, specifically giant ones that are circling you. Attacks are relatively uncommon, but when they happen, well, they're usually fatal. Humans are seriously no match for these apex predators. This is one of those times that the diver got off lucky. He was insanely fortunate that he had his spear gun with him, and when he poked the shark with the sharp end of the gun, it swam away. But if he hadn't had that gun with him or the good sense to defend himself, there's no telling what the giant shark would have done. 9. Dangerous dolphins. A British girl has been attacked by dolphins. Yes, dolphins. Dolphins may be the jokers of the sea, but they apparently have a very dark side to them not many people know about or even want to fathom. This British girl was only 10 years old when she went to Dolphin Discovery in Cancun with her family to get the full swimming with dolphins experience. The experience happened in a closed-off part of the sea in which the dolphins are kept captive. Basically, the dolphins here are prisoners, and just like any other prisoner, they probably don't enjoy being harassed. When the girl got into the sea pen with the animals, they turned on her in seconds. The child's mother watched helplessly as the dolphins dragged the girl underwater and started biting her. The girl survived the incident, though she was left with lacerations, bruises, and teeth marks from the angry dolphins. Nobody knows why they attacked this child unprovoked. Maybe they thought it was funny, or maybe they thought she was one of their captors. A lot of tourist venues sell close contact interactions with dolphins with the promise of a magical moment with the creatures. Animal-loving visitors book these experiences with good intentions for their friends and family and don't realize the hidden risk and cruelty that these businesses are profiting from. Luckily, this little girl ended up okay, but she'll probably be afraid of dolphins for the rest of her life. 8. Stingray Stayaway. Even though everybody says stingrays aren't aggressive or dangerous, an awful lot of people will disagree, as there have been quite a handful of people killed by them recently. Australian conservationist and beloved personality Steve Irwin was killed by one in 2006, and another Australian man was just murdered by another stingray in Tasmania. The guy had been swimming at Lauderdale Beach when the incident occurred. It's not exactly clear what this guy was doing in the water other than swimming, as he wasn't in the best of shape to answer questions after the attack. These creatures can get pretty big. They can be over 7.5 feet or 2.2 meters long from their heads to the tip of their tail, and they can weigh 700 pounds or 320 kilos. However, they usually only sting for self-defense purposes, so maybe the stingray thought it was in trouble and that's why it stung him. The official statement was that he had inflicted wounds probably by a marine animal, but the local media and animal experts did say his wound was consistent with a stingray attack. According to the BBC, after he suffered a puncture to his lower abdomen, the man went into cardiac arrest and sadly he died. He was only 42 years old at the time. 7. Hungry Hippo. A woman from Tampa Bay named Kristen Yaldor survived an attack from the most dangerous animal in all of Africa back in 2018. She was just living her best life, enjoying a vacation with her husband in Zimbabwe, celebrating her upcoming birthday. This particular day started off like any other on an African vacation, but it was also Kristen's special day. She and her husband set off for some nature photography near Victoria Falls. They were going on a river tour, and both of them were really excited. Just as they began to snap gorgeous photos, the guide ordered them to quickly paddle back to shore. That's because he spotted a hippopotamus, the animal that kills more humans in Africa every year than carnivores and predators. Unfortunately for Kristen, she didn't get out of the water fast enough. The hippo smashed into her boat, knocked her into the river, then bit her right leg and dragged her underwater. Luckily, she was an experienced scuba diver. She knew to hold her breath and not panic. Kristen was smart enough to stick her hands into the hippo's mouth, startling the big animal. With its grip loose on her legs, she swam back to shore and out of danger. But the fun wasn't over. Kristen was in bad shape. Her leg was definitely broken and she was bleeding pretty badly. She had to be airlifted to a hospital, and she then spent the next few weeks in and out of hospitals and surgeries as she recovered from the deadly bite. Now she's back home and doing just fine. That's one epic birthday for the books. Have you ever been on a river tour and seen a hippo? Tell us about your experience in the comments section below. And if you're enjoying this video, be sure to hit the thumbs up and subscribe buttons if you haven't already. 6. Angry orcas. Not all of the most terrifying underwater encounters are strictly human. It turns out great white sharks are just as prone to having nightmarish encounters with sea animals as humans. Autopsies done on 6 great white shark bodies that washed up on the South African coast have shown that orca whales, also known as killer whales, are targeting sharks and purposefully eating their livers and hearts. Yikes! Marine biologist Alison Towner helped to perform the autopsies, later describing her findings on Shark Talk. She claims that the orca whales are physically ripping open the sharks just below their throats with expert precision, allowing the organs to slip out from inside and be gobbled up by the whales. While this doesn't exactly have anything to do with people, it's pretty terrifying for the poor great white sharks who are just swimming around trying to eat people having a relaxing day at the beach. But hey, now the sharks know what it feels like to be hunted. Who knew killer whales and great white sharks had such turmoil between them? I wonder who started it. I am here for the drama. 5. Killed by a gator. In South Carolina, a woman has died after a rather silly encounter with an alligator. The entire thing was, well, her very own fault. The death happened on Kiowa Island after the woman tried to touch the alligator as if it was a fluffy kitten. The victim had spotted the alligator from a friend's porch and was taking pictures of it. She then wanted to pet the alligator. When the victim's friend came outside and saw her down by the pond, seemingly playing with the alligator, she screamed for her to get away. She also screamed that a deer had been eaten by an alligator from the very spot she stood not more than a few days ago. In response, the victim yelled back that she didn't look like a deer. It doesn't really get more ignorant than that. It was just a few seconds later, after making this completely outlandish remark, that the alligator launched itself at the woman, just like it would with a deer. It got her by the leg and was pulling her into the water. By this time, someone had gotten a rope and threw it towards the woman. She managed to get the rope in her hand, but by then she was halfway into the water. Her last words were, "I guess I won't do this again," and then she was gone, savaged underwater by the annoyed alligator. Authorities say as helpers were pulling the rope, the gator started to do its famous roll and Covert lost her grip and she went underwater. Deputies with the Charleston County Sheriff's Office and crews with the St. John's Fire Department scanned the pond, but did not see any movement when they arrived. After about 15 minutes, authorities saw her body surface. However, when crews reached Covert, the alligator still had her by the leg and then pulled her back under the water. 4. Nipple Attack. A man was in the water just minding his own business when the unthinkable happened. He was only up to his waist, but it was deep enough to be viciously attacked. Luckily for us, he was recording himself with an underwater camera pointed up at his face. In the video, we have a full view of the small fish swimming around his waist and of his chest, the area that was attacked. What seemed to be a completely innocent fish turned out to be demons when one of them lurched out of the water, went at least a foot above the surface, bit the guy's nipple as hard as it could, and then splashed back down and swam away. We don't know exactly where this guy was, so I can't warn you to stay away from the area. But what we do know is nobody is safe anywhere in the water with nipple-biting fish swimming around. I'm not sure if this encounter is scary or hilarious. What do you think? 3. Walrus Selfie. A man in China tried to take a selfie with a walrus. If you know anything about the walrus, you'll know it is not a creature that really likes to take selfies. It's also one of the biggest marine mammals in the world. The man who was attacked had been visiting Shishaka Wildlife Park by himself and was busy taking videos and pictures for social media. He came across the walrus. It looked pretty friendly to him, so he started taking pictures with it. That was when the walrus grabbed the man from behind and pulled him into the nearby water pool. One of the witnesses claimed that the walrus had just wanted to play, but considering the walrus weighed around 1.5 tons or 2,500 pounds, it was a bit like playing with a bulldozer in the water. The animal kept the unfortunate businessman submerged, throwing his body around like a paper doll until he eventually died. After the incident, the public was outraged because there hadn't been any kind of barrier between the animal and the public. The deceased man's family was given a handsome payout, though it's not yet clear whether they have installed walls to keep the walrus and the public separated as of yet. Sometimes people forget just how wild and unpredictable animals can be. 2. Fatal sting. A teenager in Australia was recently let off life support just a week after having an unfortunate encounter with a box jellyfish while swimming at the beach in Queensland. According to the BBC, the youngster's death is the first fatality recorded since 2006 in relation to the box jellyfish. This is a creature considered to be the most venomous in the marine world. The box jellyfish has very long tentacles covered in barbs that deliver deadly poison the moment they come into contact with your skin. Once the venom is injected, it leads to cardiac arrest, paralysis, and most often, death. Local authorities say the boy had been swimming near the small town of Bamaga when he was stung. It was so serious that he had to be flown to a faraway hospital and treated, but unfortunately for him and his loved ones, the treatment didn't work. His body simply couldn't handle the venom, and he passed away after a week of being kept alive on machines. 1. Spearfishing fail. A 34-year-old man was spearfishing off the coast of Australia when he ran into a rather ornery shark. The incident happened in 2020, around 200 miles or 320 k's up the coast from the city of Brisbane. The man never even caught any fish. He was just swimming around when the shark attacked him from his blind spot, clamped down on his leg, and ripped the limb into shreds. The shark's teeth did such great damage that it needed only one bite to put the man down for good. He bled out despite being immediately treated by medical professionals. There was simply nothing they could do to stop so much blood pouring out of his body. Unfortunately, there was no word on what type of shark it was. Judging by the shocking lethality of the attack, it was probably a great white or a bull shark. Thanks for watching. What's the scariest encounter you've ever had while underwater? Let me know in the comments section below, and be sure to hit that subscribe button for more awesome videos. See you next time. Bye!